Imagine waking up in the morning after spending 7 or 8 hours lying almost completely still. Your mind may be ready to begin the day, but your body is in a different state. Your muscles have been resting. Your joints haven't moved much. Your circulation has been relatively quiet. And then, suddenly, you sit up, put your feet on the floor, and ask your body to support your entire weight. After 70, that transition deserves a little more attention. The idea isn't that your body is fragile. Quite the opposite. Your body is remarkably adaptable. But aging can change the way muscles, joints, balance, and circulation respond to sudden movement. So instead of treating the first few seconds after waking as a race to get out of bed, think of them as a warm-up period. One of the simplest ways to do this is to begin moving while you're still lying down. Before sitting up, gently move your feet. Point your toes away from you, then bring them back toward you. Repeat slowly. You aren't trying to build muscle or break a sweat. You're simply telling your body, we're getting ready to move. This small movement can be useful because the muscles of the feet and lower legs are involved in everyday movement and help with circulation in the lower limbs. More importantly, it introduces movement gradually, rather than asking your body to go from complete rest to standing immediately. Then pause. Take a comfortable breath. Bend your knees slightly if that feels comfortable. Move your ankles again. Maybe gently wiggle your toes. Nothing should be forced. Nothing should hurt. Then, when you're ready, roll onto your side or sit up slowly. Give yourself another moment before standing. This sequence may sound almost too simple, but that's exactly why it can work as a habit. A healthy routine doesn't have to be complicated to be valuable. In fact, the best routine is often the one you will actually perform every morning. Think about what happens when you start a cold engine. You don't immediately demand maximum power. You allow the system to begin operating gradually. Your body isn't a machine, of course, but the comparison teaches an important lesson. Transitions matter. And there is another important point. This isn't about trying to reverse aging with one exercise. No single movement can do that. Healthy aging comes from many ordinary behaviors repeated over time. Regular physical activity, adequate nutrition, good sleep, strength training, balance, and appropriate medical care. The morning movement is simply a small doorway into that larger lifestyle. So tomorrow morning, don't think, I need a complicated workout before breakfast. Think smaller before your feet touch the floor. Give your body a few gentle movements. Wake up the ankles. Wake up the legs. Breathe normally. Sit up gradually. And then stand when you feel ready. Sometimes taking better care of your body begins with something remarkably simple. Don't rush the first movement of the day. Now let's look at the simple movement at the center of this morning routine. Ankle pumps. It sounds almost too easy. You're lying in bed, you move your feet back and forth, and that's it. But sometimes simplicity is exactly what makes an exercise useful, especially when the goal is to create a habit you can repeat consistently. Here's how it works. While you're still lying comfortably on your back, keep your legs relaxed. Slowly point your toes away from your body as if you're pressing a pedal. Then gently pull your toes back toward your head. That's one repetition. Point back. You don't need to move aggressively. You don't need resistance bands, weights, or special equipment. The movement should feel smooth and comfortable. Why begin with the ankles? Because your feet and lower legs are about to become important participants in your morning. The moment you stand up, they help support your body and maintain your balance. Moving them gently before standing gives you a simple way to introduce motion before asking them to perform a more demanding task. Think about it like this. If you've been sitting in a chair for a long time, you probably don't jump up and immediately sprint across the room. You naturally stretch, shift your position, and begin moving. The same basic idea can apply when transitioning from sleep to activity. Ankle pumps also involve the muscles around the lower leg. When you repeatedly flex and extend your ankles, those muscles contract and relax. This movement can contribute to normal circulation in the lower limbs, although it should not be presented as a treatment for circulation problems or as a replacement for medical care. And that's an important distinction. The exercise is simple, but simple doesn't mean magical. You aren't performing ankle pumps because they can prevent every problem associated with aging. You're doing them because they are an easy way to introduce gentle movement into the first moments of your day. Try starting with perhaps 10 to 20 slow repetitions, if that feels comfortable. There is no prize for doing more. If your ankles feel stiff, begin with smaller movements. If you experience pain, stop rather than forcing the exercise. And remember to breathe normally. You don't need to hold your breath. You don't need to tense your entire body. Your shoulders can remain relaxed while your feet do the work. After you've finished, take a moment before sitting up. Then move to the edge of the bed and stand slowly when you're ready. That sequence is more important than chasing a particular number. The real goal is consistency. Imagine doing this every morning for months. You haven't needed a gym. You haven't bought equipment. You haven't cleared an hour from your schedule. You've simply created a small signal that tells your body, the day is beginning, and we're going to move gradually. But there is one more lesson here. As we get older, exercise doesn't always have to look impressive to be meaningful. A person who performs a simple movement every morning may be building a stronger habit than someone who occasionally attempts an exhausting workout and then stops for weeks. Healthy aging is often built from these small decisions. Move a little, repeat it tomorrow, repeat it again the next day, and let those small actions become part of your normal life. The ankle pump is not a miracle exercise. It is something more practical, a gentle, accessible first movement that can help you approach the transition from sleep to standing with a little more patience and awareness. Because sometimes the smartest way to start the day isn't to move faster, it's to move deliberately. There is a small moment every morning that most people never think about. You wake up, you open your eyes, and then you stand. It seems completely ordinary, but your body has just spent several hours in a resting position, and suddenly you're asking your muscles, joints, feet, and balance system to work together. That doesn't mean standing up is dangerous, or that older adults should be afraid of getting out of bed. It simply means that the transition from lying down to standing deserves a little patience. As we age, our bodies can become less forgiving of sudden changes. Muscles may take a little longer to respond. Joints can feel stiff after being still. Balance may not be as automatic as it once was. And some people experience a temporary drop in blood pressure when they move from lying down or sitting to standing. This is one reason the first minute of the morning can be approached differently. Instead of thinking, I have to get up immediately, think, I have a minute to prepare. That minute can begin with ankle pumps. Point your toes away from you. Bring them back. Repeat slowly. Then pause. Take a comfortable breath. Move your legs gently if you want to. Next, turn onto your side or sit up gradually. Once you're sitting at the edge of the bed, don't immediately launch yourself toward the bathroom or kitchen. Give your body another moment. Notice how you feel. Are you steady? Do you feel lightheaded? Do your legs feel ready to support you? If everything feels normal, stand slowly. This isn't about being overly cautious. It's about respecting the signals your body gives you. Imagine driving a car that has been parked all night. You wouldn't expect it to go from completely stationary to maximum speed in 1 second. You start the engine, put the car in motion, and gradually accelerate. Your body is much more complicated than a car, but the principle is useful. Transitions can be gradual. And here's where the idea becomes bigger than one exercise. The goal isn't simply to perform ankle pumps. The goal is to develop awareness. When you're younger, you may not think about how you stand, walk, turn, or climb stairs. These actions happen almost automatically. Later in life, paying attention to how you move can become an important part of staying confident and independent. That doesn't mean every morning needs to become a medical procedure. It can be incredibly simple. Move your ankles. Sit up, pause, stand, walk. That's it. If you ever experience frequent dizziness, fainting, unusual weakness, chest discomfort, or other concerning symptoms when getting up, don't simply assume it's part of normal aging. Those symptoms deserve discussion with a healthcare professional. But for everyday mornings, the broader lesson is beautifully simple. Don't make your body jump from 0 to 100. Give it a moment. Give your muscles a chance to move. Give your balance system a chance to adjust. and give yourself permission to start the day slowly, because after 70, protecting independence isn't always about doing bigger and harder things. Sometimes it begins with something much smaller: the first movement, the first breath, the first step, and the decision to make that first step deliberately. The biggest mistake people make with exercise isn't always choosing the wrong exercise. Sometimes it's making the routine so complicated that they eventually stop doing it. You don't need a perfect morning routine. You need a routine that you can actually repeat. That's why this simple movement can become a useful morning ritual. It takes very little time, requires no equipment, and can be performed before you even leave your bed. Think about the first few minutes after waking. Instead of immediately reaching for your phone, jumping out of bed, or rushing toward the next responsibility, give yourself a short period to reconnect with your body. Start with your feet. Point your toes gently away from you. Then pull them back toward you. Repeat the movement slowly. As you do it, breathe normally. There's no need to hold your breath or strain your muscles. The movement should feel comfortable and controlled. You might begin with 10 repetitions on each side, or simply continue for a short period that feels appropriate for you. The exact number isn't the most important part. Consistency matters more than intensity. Then pause. Notice how your body feels. Are your ankles stiff? Do your legs feel comfortable? Do you feel alert and steady? If you feel ready, gently move toward a sitting position. Place your feet on the floor and take another moment before standing. This is where the routine becomes more than an exercise. It becomes a habit of paying attention. After 70, listening to your body can be just as important as challenging it. Some mornings you may feel energetic. Other mornings you may wake up stiff or tired. A good routine allows room for those differences. You don't have to force the same performance every day. On a good morning, your movements may feel easy. On a slower morning, make them smaller and gentler. The objective isn't to prove how strong you are at 7 in the morning. The objective is to prepare yourself to move through the day safely and comfortably. And there's another powerful advantage to keeping the ritual simple. You remove excuses. You don't need to drive to a gym. You don't need expensive equipment. You don't need special clothing. You don't even need to wait for the perfect time. The exercise begins exactly where you are. That simplicity makes it easier to attach the movement to something you already do every day. Waking up, and habits become stronger when they're connected to existing routines. Wake up, move your ankles, breathe. Sit up, pause, stand, then continue with your normal morning. Over time, that sequence can become automatic. But remember, this tiny routine should complement, not replace, a complete approach to physical activity. Older adults generally benefit from a combination of aerobic activity, muscle-strengthening exercises, and balance-focused activities, adjusted to their individual abilities and health circumstances. The morning movement is simply the opening chapter. It's a reminder that exercise doesn't have to begin with something dramatic. It can begin with one small decision: move before you rush. And perhaps that's the deeper lesson. Healthy aging isn't necessarily about doing extraordinary things once in a while. It's often about doing ordinary things consistently. A few gentle ankle movements, a careful transition from lying down to sitting, a deliberate first step, then another. Those actions may seem insignificant when viewed individually, but repeated day after day, they become part of the way you take care of yourself. So tomorrow morning, don't ask yourself, how much exercise can I force into my morning? Ask a better question. What small movement can I do every morning without fail? Start there. Keep it comfortable. Keep it simple, and let consistency do the heavy lifting. Now we arrive at the most important lesson of all. The ankle pump itself is not magic. It isn't a secret exercise that suddenly turns back the clock. And healthy aging doesn't depend on finding one perfect movement. The real power is in understanding something much simpler. Your body responds to what you repeatedly ask it to do. If you spend most of your day sitting, your body becomes accustomed to sitting. If you regularly move, stretch, walk, strengthen your muscles, and practice balance, your body receives a very different message. That doesn't mean aging can be stopped. It can't. But aging and becoming inactive are not the same thing. This distinction matters enormously after 70. Many people gradually reduce their activity because certain movements become uncomfortable, or because they become afraid of falling, becoming tired, or doing something incorrectly. Then something interesting happens. The less they move, the less confident they may feel about moving. It's a cycle. Less movement can lead to less strength and confidence. Less confidence can lead to even less movement. The solution isn't necessarily an intense workout. Sometimes the first step is simply finding safe, manageable ways to keep movement present in everyday life. That's why the morning ritual matters. Before you've even left your bed, you've already made one small decision in favor of movement. You move your ankles. You activate the muscles of your lower legs. You transition slowly from lying down to sitting. Then you stand when you're ready. It may take less than a minute, but psychologically, it establishes something important. Movement belongs in your day, and that idea can expand. After breakfast, perhaps you take a short walk. Later, perhaps you perform some appropriate strength exercises. Another day, you practice balance exercises with suitable support. You don't need to accomplish everything at once. Think of physical activity like saving small amounts of money. One coin doesn't seem impressive, but repeated deposits can eventually create something substantial. Your body works through repetition too. One walk doesn't transform your fitness. One strength session doesn't rebuild all your muscles. One balance exercise doesn't eliminate every risk, but repeated activity can help maintain physical capacity and independence over time. And independence is a powerful goal. Being able to get out of bed, walk to the kitchen, carry a light bag, climb a few stairs, get up from a chair, reach for something on a shelf. These ordinary activities are easy to overlook when they're effortless, but they are part of what makes daily life feel free. So the goal of exercise after 70 shouldn't simply be to look fit. It should be to remain capable of moving, capable of participating, capable of doing as much of your daily life as your individual health allows. Of course, everyone is different. Medical conditions, medications, previous injuries, and fitness levels can change what exercises are appropriate. If a movement causes pain, dizziness, or unusual symptoms, stop and seek appropriate medical advice rather than trying to push through it. But for many people, the broader principle remains useful. Start where you are. Move within your abilities. Progress gradually, and repeat. The tiny ankle movement before getting out of bed is simply a symbol of that philosophy. You don't have to conquer aging in one morning. You don't have to perform a heroic workout. You simply have to give your body another opportunity to move. Tomorrow morning, before your feet touch the floor, remember that. Move your ankles. Take a breath. Sit up slowly. Stand when you're ready. Then take that same philosophy into the rest of your day. Because healthy aging isn't about finding one miraculous exercise. It's about building a body and a lifestyle that continues to value movement, strength, balance, and independence. One small movement in the morning can be the first sentence in a much bigger story about staying active for the years ahead.